This conference will now be recorded.
Thank you, Kashad, and welcome everyone to your new Mesoscale Mission Manager. We have been working on this since last year. I started it off and did what I could in my spare time, and then Eric came on and really helped push this forward so that you can have what you see here today. So when you open up this new Mesoscale Mission Manager, this is what you see. On the right side is a little bit of an instruction guide. It tells you there's a control panel over on the left where you can look at your requests, your proposals that you've submitted in the past, as well as start a new one. And I'll get into the details about that in just a moment. It also mentions that you have a globe in the middle of your page and a timeline down at the bottom. So you might want to start exploring what is the current state of the mesoscale regions on the globe. And first of all, we are here in this goes east position. And on the timeline, we have this red bar indicating the current time. And on the right side, it will tell you what mesos are currently being used. So these green bars show that it's just the default meso, and it will say so here in the table on the right. And then we have these other colors, which are, we're trying to get them as close as possible to the warning colors that are associated with the National Weather Service warning polygons. So here we have an SPC slight risk and SPC critical fire weather that we see over the CONUS. And so you can scroll out by using your mouse wheel, and you can look at past mesos, and the information will show up in the table, and they will show up on the globe. You might be wondering what this shaded region is. This will show you the day and nighttime on your globe. So that's pretty fun. You can see when you're requesting mesos where the daytime and nighttime will be. So now we know what the current state of mesos are. Let's look at maybe creating a new one. So you click that button on the left. It says start new request, I believe is what it said. New request / proposal. You will choose your satellite. Let's say we want to go to goes west. We can do a full disk. We can do a 30-second meso, which is your, just meso 1 running every 30 seconds. And this little box shows up. This is your meso 1. You can move it around, drag it around wherever you want on the screen. And the location will show up here in this request summary that pops up in the right. If for some reason you need to see the instructions again after you've started your request process, you can use this button saying show instructions. And we'll go back here and show you how you can use the control panel and the globe and the timeline, and then go back to your request summary. And say, for example, you want a 60-second meso instead of a 30-second. It looks pretty much the same, but it will say 60-second meso request in the request summary. Again, you can move your meso around and then start to fill out all the other things that you need as part of a request. So you're going to choose your requesting office, choose one by random. Here's our request priority. Let's say we got some volcanic ash going around here in Hawaii. We'll move our mesoscale over Hawaii. Justification can have meso. And that will show up here on the right side. Collaboration notes are optional. You don't need them unless, say, you're doing a research request and you want to say who else you're working with. And then we got the request start time. Just use the selectors. Right now it's AM and PM, but at some point we will turn this into a 24-hour selector. And once you've got all that in there, it will show up here on the right, and it tells you, calculates the length of the event that you're requesting. And say, for example, you know the exact latitude, longitude that you want. You can type it in here instead of dragging the meso around. And it will pop up wherever you put the location, but you can also change it and drag it around wherever you want. And something new here that you might not have in your previous one is you can add a second meso when you're doing the 60-second meso request. So say there's some special event going around and you want to use up to 60-second mesos. You can drag them around to whatever location you want, or you can do a special alignment. We have a horizontally aligned, and it will automatically horizontally align them and you can move them around and they'll get stuck together, or you can do a vertically aligned and move them around. And both of those requests will show up here as Meso 1 and Meso 2. And as you might have seen here on the timeline, it shows you, okay, during this time, I requested Meso 1 and Meso 2 on the west. Right now, there are no other special ones during this time. It's just the default. So we think we're in the clear here. And so I'm going to submit as a request, and boom, request submitted. And that is the basics of this. And before I do anything else, I'm going to pause and ask Eric, was there anything else that you wanted me to show right now regarding this tool?
No, I think you pretty much hit all the highlights there. There is just back at that home page before you start making a new one, you have an option to pull up your past requests or proposals. And when you can do that, with those, you can copy all of that information over to a new request if you want. Or for your proposals, you can just, if all the information is in there, you can go ahead and submit it from that page.
Yes. So if you're constantly requesting the same area with the same justifications, it's pretty handy to be able to just take an old one and copy it as a new request and change just maybe the date. So for example, you'll see here this was an old one, and so you get an error saying the start time must be after the current time. Can't request something in the past, so you would just go and change your date. Easy peasy. So before I hand it over to Eric, does anyone on the line have any questions? Checking the chat. I see nothing in the chat. All right. In that case, Eric, why don't you take over and look at the Mission Planner tool?
All right. Can I get the screen? All right. Yeah. So in the old M tool, it's all the same page for submitting requests and then also for the SDM to approve them and submit the plan update. So we decided to just split that up into two separate tools, just to be able to keep each one a little more simplified. So here is the Mesoscale Mission Planner, the SDM tool. You can see it has a similar type of layout with the timeline and the globe. And again, you can click around on the timeline to see things plotted up here. And for creating your new Meso plan update, so it will automatically see if there's any conflicts with the request. Right now we have 0, but if you did, you have the option. You can select requests just by clicking on them in the table over here and then do a couple different things with them. You can move them to a different meso. You can edit the start and end times, or you can remove a request. So all just things needed for deconflicting some of these requests. And once you have 0 conflicts over here, you can submit your plan update. It will give you a little summary of the requests that will be sent and also the changes that you made to the requests. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for that. I think we can move on to some questions, feedback. Because all of the layout and the formatting we chose for this stuff, it was all because we thought it looked nice, we thought it looked intuitive, but we're not the ones actually using these tools, so we're really looking to hearing your feedback on this.
I will add that we want the feedback, not just right now, but anytime in the future. We can schedule one-on-one sessions to help you learn it or just walk you through it. and get your feedback in real time, or you can send us emails, or you can create an ongoing Google Doc and throw in screenshots and send us the link as you keep finding things. We want to hear your feedback, especially if there's something that's not working or if something's working really well. We'd like to know that too. Or if there are any enhancements that you would like, we can try to work those in. So even if you don't have a question you can think of now, you can give us all your feedback later. And we'll send you the links so that you can start playing around. At the moment, this is not going to put in any real requests. It's just for functionality testing to see how well you like it.
And did you guys have a projected date on when you're going to move this to being the operational version?
Currently, I think we're aiming for February 15th.
Yes, so ideally we would want your feedback over the next couple weeks, so then we have another 2 weeks after that to implement any of the changes that you provide to us and feedback.
Thanks very much, Katie and Eric, for running through that demo. That was very much appreciated, I think, by everyone here. Anybody else, any questions or comments? As Katie mentioned, you might want to play around with it a little bit, and then in doing so, you might come across a few additional concerns or questions that you have. So feel free to do some exploration and get back to us with any questions that you might have.
So this is Greg at SPC. So we can use the link, Katie, that you shared in the chat. Share that with the SPC forecasters to do the testing. Is that correct?
Yes, that first link in the chat, MMM for requesters. This is all the testing. They can play around with it as much as they want. And they're, after they submit something, it will show up in one of those test forums that you see down later in the chat. And so they can see how their request went through into the forums. But it's all fake right now, so they don't have to worry about accidentally submitting a real request. And we will let you know when everything is live, and we will probably change the link so it doesn't say -testing at the end. So you can be safe using this testing link to just play around with the functionality.
Okay, and then, so you said, will you keep the link the same on the day that you change it, or will you change the link to this new, to something new on the day that it's implemented then?
I assume it will be new. Eric, I think you were the one that set this up. So do you have the new link ready, or are you just going to basically take the -testing off the new link?
Yeah, I think it'll probably just be without the -testing. But yeah, once we created that new page and we have that link, we'll send it out to everyone.
Okay, thanks.
Anybody else have any questions or comments? How about Kashad or Joe, anyone else that's online from the team? Any additional things you want to mention?
No, Mike, I don't have anything to add.
Okay, very good.
Hey, Mike, will you send the links that they've included in the chat here to the entire call group so we don't have to post those everywhere?
Sure. Yes, Katie, if you wouldn't mind sending those to me, and I'll disseminate them out to the group. That'd be great.
Cool, thanks.
Yes, we'll do. And I see in the chat someone, Jordan, said he would like to have an opportunity to have demos. So yes, just reach out to us and we can set up a time to do one-on-one or group demos as you desire.
Perfect.
Then, hey, what about sharing the recorded session that was just made when you send those links out?
Yeah, I can send out a video of the recording to the email list. I'll send it out to everyone. and I can Mike, if you want, I can also send out those links too. I can get them from Katie and then just
Okay.
send it all
Yeah.
out all together. So
That's
Thank you.
probably best. Thanks, Kashad. Appreciate it.
welcome.
All right. We'll go one more time. Any other comments or questions before we adjourn? All right. Not hearing anything. Don't see any additional comments in chat. So thank you again very much, Eric and Katie, for running through the demo. Very much appreciated. And we'll try to gather some good feedback over the next couple of weeks. And then we'll, of course, have our regular Triple M meeting in a couple of weeks as well. So I look forward to talking to you all again then.